Friends and families, please welcome the magnificent class of 2020. Vraj Satashia, this year's upper school student government president, will carry the class of 2020 flag and lead in his classmates. Roberts House, house heads Allison Rader and Matt Dents. Truesdell House, househead Rachel Lynchen. Washington House, househead Steve Mall. Alcott-Day House, Househead Peggy Bradley. Galloway House, Househead Reed Skog. Kershaw House, Househead David Martin, class of 1760. Osborne House, Househead Susan Merrill. My friends, please remain standing for just one more minute. Good morning. Good morning. That will not suffice in a mass world. Good morning. My name is Truesdell House, and I am the very proud head of Germantown Academy. On behalf of our faculty, staff, and board of trustees, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you to our celebration of commencement for the one and only class of 2020. Please remove your hats, remain standing, and enjoy our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by Rachel Roth, class of 2021.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' regular, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Friends, please be seated. It's my pleasure to introduce the distinguished guests on the podium with me this morning. Please hold your applause until I have announced all of them. We have Bradley J. Corman, class of '83, president of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Michael Torrey, interim head of upper school. Maggie McVeigh, class of 1760, very recent retiree and today's keynote speaker. And finally, Mr. Will Weinmayer Jr., class of 2003, president of the Alumni Society Board. Please join me in thanking them for being here today. I never thought this day would get here. You look more beautiful than ever. Absence truly does make the heart grow fonder. Graduates, I'm so proud of you for your perseverance. Families and friends, guests, whether you're seated in a classroom in the middle school or somewhere in the Arts Center, the Honickman, the Big Gym, or the Field House, please know that throughout this ceremony, you are with us here in our hearts this morning. And I'm so grateful for everything you all have done to support our one and only class of 2020. Seniors, now almost graduates, in a non-pandemic year, I would have shared the following comments with you at your senior send-off. But since that didn't occur in any kind of usual way, I wanted to share them with you this morning at your graduation. Today marks a vital transition in your lives. The closing of one chapter and the continuation of your extraordinary educational and personal journeys. So the irony isn't lost on me as the master of ceremonies this morning that I am personally terrifically horrible at managing transitions. My first major transition occurred at the age of 17, when I decided to trade in the final 12 months of my own high school career to live with a host family I had never met before and attend high school in Germany. With 3 years of high school German under my belt and 2 insanely heavy suitcases without wheels, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into. Beyond packing, what else did I really do to prepare myself for leaving my family and friends for an entire year? Absolutely nothing. So there I was, forever pubescently awkward in JFK Airport with my entire family in tow, sobbing hysterically and almost unable to even board the plane. 13 months later, I was back in the US, failing to prepare for my next major transition, the big move to college. Still scarred by the scarcity of belongings I carried with me for my first transition, I now packed so much stuff that, well, we needed both of my parents' 80s-style compact cars to caravan to Washington, D.C. With 2 insanely impatient New York drivers behind the wheels, the outcome seemed inevitable. And just a few miles away from the promised freedom of college life, my parents managed to get into an accident with each other. My lead-footed mother railroaded the back of my father's car, and the screaming and the profanity that resulted is not the legacy I want to leave at graduation today. Needless to say, by the time I arrived in my college dorm room, it was all I could do to throw my things in and push my parents back out the door, another transition failure. Fast forward 15 years to New Year's Eve 2002. 4 hours before midnight, I receive a phone call from my mom. My father has been sent in an ambulance to the ER with a ruptured carotid artery, the final damage of radiation poisoning following cancer treatment. I begin the 10-hour drive, alone, New Year's Eve, hoping I get there in time. 10 hours to plan a permanent transition in both of our lives. I arrive in time. I have 2 days to tell him everything I have always needed to say but haven't. 2 days to get this most important transition right. And this time, I do. So here you sit, 2020, and you still have time. A big transition awaits you. What do you need to say? What do you need to do? Don't take this step for granted. Don't just let it happen to you or wash over you. Think about what matters to you and take the time to do it right. You have more than 10 hours. But whatever you do, please do not let your parents take separate cars. Thank you very much. Before we proceed to recognizing our graduates this morning, I'd like to remind the class of 2020 that you are here today because your parents and families believe education matters. They have sacrificed. They have attended hundreds of concerts, games, parent conferences, and special events to give you every opportunity and to launch you into the world as a scholar, citizen, and leader. Whether you arrived as an upper schooler or 18 years ago in our daycare or somewhere in between, your families believed that you would reach this day, that you would become an embodiment of the GA mission. that you would make your family proud, and that you would make the world a better place. Without their love, support, and belief in you, you wouldn't be the person you are today. Thank you, parents and families, for entrusting GA with the spectacular gift of your children and with the honor of being part of their education. We are a better school for having had them here. So please join me, almost graduates, in a rousing round of applause for your families who made today possible. The highlight of every GA commencement, the true non-sectarian promised land, is the official conferring of diplomas. As per GA tradition, we will graduate each house one at a time. But this year, there will be intermezzos between each house to provide family members a chance to make their way to the quad to celebrate their graduates' moment in the spotlight. May today's graduates walk proudly in the footsteps of the generations of GA alums before you. Hold your heads high, live the mission, and stay connected to your school that holds you in such great affection. Your diplomas are inscribed by the Germantown Academy faculty and board of trustees, and they are signed by Bradley J. Corman, class of '83, president of the board. In a normal year, Mr. Corman would actually confer each diploma to you individually. But given the extraordinary nature of this year, each graduate will have instead the graduation runway all to themselves, to take their diploma, to give a wave to the audience, and to shine. So this year, more than ever, please, audience, we are few but mighty, please put aside any notions you may have about formal graduations and cheer your hearts out. You only graduate from high school once, and so let's make the most of it, and let's use our voices to bridge the physical distance between us. So parents, that means you, so get ready to cheer. Class of 2020, trustees, parents, I need loudness, all right? So to begin, let's practice. Can everybody cheer? So that's like a 7, so we want to get that to a 10. To begin, I would like to ask the members of Roberts House to rise and prepare to receive your diplomas. Roberts House, house heads Allison Rader and Matt Dentz. Sadie Laurel Andre, prefects. Josh Kakadia, prefect, cum laude, Academy Scholar, lifer. Mark L. Arsever, lifer. Katie Chang. Garrett Alexander Comrie. Owen Riley Fitz, cum laude. Kenneth Kaishu Gong, cum laude. Brendan Christopher Hassan. We call that confident in expression. J. Elise Haynes, lifer. Anthony Hu, cum laude, Academy Scholar. Daniel Constantine Kraus. Malin Jackson Lindsay. We're just building anticipation for Sam Love Lifer. Gabriella Manosis. Olivia Josephine McMichael. Hasit Bharat Patel. Caitlin Priori. Bailey Farron Rhodes. Megan Savannah Toscano cum laude. And Lucas Warner Trena in absentia. Friends, please give a big round of applause to all of our graduates from Roberts House. Roberts family guests, you may return to your seating area. We will miss you. And Roberts graduates, you may have a seat. Elected with enthusiasm by his peers from the class of 2020 to speak on their behalf is GA lifer Seamus Dean. Please welcome Seamus to the podium.
Bit of a walk. Senior spring, am I right? It's been a wild ride. Before we begin, for your safety, I'm required to remind you to remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened. No matter how hilarious my jokes are, please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. First, I'd like to thank you, the amazing class of 2020, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. This has been crazy. We've shared quite a ride on this emotional roller coaster, and we pretty much white-knuckled it through this spring semester. To be perfectly honest, when it comes to roller coasters, I'm not a big fan. My idea of a good ride is a kiddie one. It slowly goes around in a circle. No peaks, no valleys. May be boring for some folks, but for those of you who know me, you'd agree. Slow and steady wins the race. It's pretty disappointing. We queued up a GA for years, waiting to hop on the much-anticipated senior spring ride. My version of this ride, smooth coast, downhill the whole way. Lots of waving to my friends, high-fiving my teachers. But in March, the tracks were pulled out from under us, and we suddenly found ourselves careening through space, completely untethered, with no line of sight as to where we're going. Not the ride I was expecting, not the ride our teachers and families had looked forward to either. As I said, I worked pretty hard to avoid roller coasters. That's my nature. A metaphor where I finally went on a roller coaster, I overcame my fears and realized it was really awesome and enjoyable. Might work pretty well for a graduation speech. But the truth is, when I did conquer the junior Harry Potter roller coaster at age 9, I did not like it one bit. I successfully avoided Space Mountain, the Super Duper Looper, and on 3 separate occasions, I was able to overcome the sibling pressure and escape the Tower of Terror. But the truth is that life is a roller coaster. No matter how hard you work and plan, there's always going to be terrifying drops and exhilarating peaks. maybe even a loop-de-loop or two. But there was one lesson that I did take away from my first roller coaster experience. Thank God I wasn't alone. When I was scared, I looked to my right, and I saw my little brother was loving it. Sure, he was only 4 years old at the time, but the joy he experienced helped me know that everything was going to be all right. Like many things, it's not so much about the thing itself, but more about the people that you're with. My company on this Corona coaster was key to making this unusual semester bearable. GA teachers may have varied in their Zoom skills, but not in their efforts to keep the senior spirits up. Those repeated audio glitches where the teachers' voices became super robotic, or the perfectly timed audio dropouts right at the of the lesson, added much needed comic relief. And props to my classmates for serving up heaping helpings of their regular shenanigans. While we could no longer congregate in the house spaces making fun of each other, I never laughed harder than that ridiculous frozen image of Hans mid-sneeze. On a side note, as you guys leave today, you'll be guided through the gift shop where you can buy a copy of your commemorative Zoom-based in-ride Corona coaster screen photos. Like any roller coaster worth its salt, the Corona coaster lulled us into a calm before adding a few more drastic turns. Just when we thought we might be able to make it through this wild ride, it was just like the universe said, "Hey everybody, you're already so far out of your comfort zone. It seems like a perfect time to address a few more issues that need some work." Our generation's response to the tragic death of George Floyd was truly inspiring, and it also added some new and challenging sharp turns. I believe that this difficult set of twists and turns changed us, and it must continue to change us. Here again is a place where my roller coaster metaphor fails. You see, every roller coaster ride brings you right back to where you started. However, after our exhilarating, exhausting, sometimes even heartbreaking ride, we must start from a completely different place. We can't just go back to where we started. We can't just hope for things to go back to the way that they were before. Don't get me wrong, I certainly long for the return of a full day of NFL Red Zone, for the ability to hang out with friends, indoors. And you guys know I'm looking forward to once again seeing the beautiful smile on the talented workers who lovingly craft my Wawa sandwich. But in so many other ways, we can't just wish for things to return to normal. What really matters is how this wild ride impacts the way that we live moving forward. And we have to have more than just a story to tell our kids. We have to appreciate the people in our lives more, and we have to take action and do better in listening to the experiences of people different than us. The real test is what we take away from the ride. Surviving and thriving in virtual GA offered us a remarkable opportunity. As either my brother John or Joni Mitchell said, "Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?" We all experienced significant loss in the wake of this unprecedented pandemic, but the loss has retethered us to what's essential. We've been given a strange and valuable It's a Wonderful Life kind of peek into what our lives are like without this community. Rather than feeling disconnected from all of you, I found that this social distance made me appreciate the awesome class of 2020 more than ever. We're bound together in the shared experience of 2020. Our grandparents walked to school, uphill, both ways. That's nothing. I didn't even get to go to school. I had to have class in the dining room. I took my German exam with my mom deboning a chicken in the same room. My brother was competing in the presidential fitness challenge next door. But we have much more than a good story and a video shout out from Bradley Cooper to tell our kids about. Hey, Brad. We have the knowledge that all small connections and kindnesses make life better, and that we need to cherish the time that we have together with the people that we love. We also have the deep insight that we can survive anything thrown at us. I truly wish this graduation ceremony meant the end of the Corona coaster, that we were looking back having conquered the Tower of Terror. But we all know that we're walking out of here and climbing right into our own unique version of the Corona coaster. But what we know now is that together we can lean into the uncomfortable, the unpredictable, look to our left and look to our right. Together we can throw our arms up and enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Seamus. It is now my privilege to ask the Truesdell Timberwolves to rise and prepare to receive your diplomas. Please hum Pomp and Circumstance in your heads. They're almost there. Truesdell House, Househead Rachel Lynchen. Juan Carlos Adames Jr., Prefect. Kylie Marie Kurgidis, Prefect. Sarah Al-Haddad. Riley M. Allen. Emma Rose Atkinson in absentia. Caroline Meinhardt Colin Leifer. Lily Grace Cooper. Bruce Alexander Henry. Philip R. Herman IV. Katie L. Cook. Hans Franklin Lillis. Tayshawn Mack Leifer. William Carl Martin Leifer. Jordan Page Roche. Mosley L. Schwartz Leifer. Alice Sue cum laude. Elizabeth Payne Van Blarcom Leifer. Give her her diploma. Michael Charles Wood, lifer. David Joseph Zelke. Bravo, Truesdell House, Truesdell family guests. We loved having you here. We miss you already. Please go back to your seating area. And Truesdell, please take a seat. Presenting the class stone this year are Lily Ernst, Lindsay Putnam, and Justin Rhodes, senior class forum representatives to the Student Government Association. Please welcome them and thank them for their service to their classmates and GA.
Hello?
Okay. Each year, the graduating class designs a stone that will remain at GA forever as a physical representation of our legacy. Several designs are submitted and then voted on by the class. This year, the class of 2020 stone was designed by myself, Lily Ernst, and will soon be hung in the Alumni Walk, where it will be surrounded by years of history. Throughout my time at GA, my favorite place has always been the quad. It is the spot that connects all three schools and represents a sense of unity. This is why I decided to focus the design around the bell tower. I hope it will remind students for years to come just how special this exact place where we stand truly is. We are honored to present this stone to Germantown Academy on behalf of the class of 2020.
From reunions to alumni events across the country, there are countless ways for us to be active patriots, and we are very excited to continue our connection to the red, black, and the blue. The class of 2011 created a tradition in which individuals of our class donate to the GA Annual Fund as a token of appreciation for our families, our friends, and the faculty during our time at GA. We'd like to thank those of you who took the time to donate these individual gifts. We hope that these gifts, the class stone, and everything that we have done at GA will not only build our legacy, but also help future patriots thrive.
Hi, my name is Justin Rhodes. Thanks for having me. On behalf of our class, I would like to thank the Alumni Society Board for their contributions this year. Our class stone will be a reminder to the community of how the class of 2020 overcame the challenging ending we were presented with. Thank you to the faculty, our friends, and our parents for helping us to get this far. And finally, thank you and congratulations to my fellow graduates. We couldn't have done it without each other. Rock on, and don't celebrate too hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now is the time for our stars from Washington House to shine. Washington House, please rise. Washington House, Househead Steve Mall. Elizabeth Altamar, Prefects. Justin Noah Rhodes, Prefect. Luke Sebastian Abraham, Lifer. Tara Babel, Academy Scholar. Agaz Beg. Annabelle Nita Hamilton Brewer, Lifer. Colby Alexander Brundeen, cum laude. Michael Shea Dion. Maya Despina Folia. Isabel Victoria Verdon Goldstein, cum laude, Lifer. Wyatt B. Hare. Christopher Sungjin Kim. Eleni Kitsidis. Eric Daniel Lafond. Destiny Nia Mayfield. Jabril Moore. Kerway Tsai, cum laude. Marius Don Vava, cum laude, Lifer. Nadia Havens Wunsch. Congratulations to our graduates from Washington House, Washington family guests, we miss you already. And to our Washington Now graduates, as soon as you find your seat, please be seated. Elected by the esteemed Germantown Academy faculty, our second student speaker this morning is Patriot Scholar Sasha Capers. Please welcome Sasha to the podium. Keep cheering so it doesn't get awkward.
Good morning, class of 2020. Like most of the class, I imagined high school to be exactly like the iconic movie High School Musical. I thought there were about 3 classes a day, everyone's hair and makeup was always perfect, and that ultimately everyone knew how to sing and dance. My parents in Germantown Academy had done a pretty good job of isolating me from the ebbs and flows of life. However, I quickly learned that high school is nothing like the movie. Freshman year, my locker assignment was directly on top of a senior boy. Terrifying. Therefore, I made the wise decision to carry every single one of my books so I would never have to inconvenience him during the day. On the first day coming back from Miss Rader's geometry class, which is on the 3rd floor for those that don't remember already, I dropped my books down the stairs and just watched as I sprawled across the ground and left them there because I was too embarrassed to pick them up. This is the moment I realized my high school experience was going to be a little bit more awkward and difficult than Troy and Gabriella's. Most of us can recite lines from High School Musical word for word and sing the songs like we wrote them ourselves, or at least I can. In the song Stick to the Status Quo, Chad explains that you cannot do more than one extracurricular in high school and that there is only one group of people you are supposed to hang out with. Going into freshman year, I looked for this one group. I will not ignore the obvious. Being an African American female added its own unique set of challenges and struggles. At GA, I started to become aware of my race around the 1st grade. That is when I realized that my hair didn't dry the same as my classmates did after swim. Like most African American children, I experienced many microaggressions from my classmates who did not intend to be hurtful but did not know any better. I came to high school with a few battle wounds and life lessons, but extremely optimistic, as this was the pinnacle of my 15 years here at GA. Looking back, I laugh at the thought of anyone at GA being defined by one extracurricular. At GA, being defined by one label is almost impossible. Here we have cross-country runners who love to bake, and editors of the yearbook who also run CSO, tennis players who also volunteer at the dog park in their free time, and last but not least, athletes who not only play lacrosse, but soccer and basketball all at a varsity level. Maddie Burns, there's the shout out you asked me for. Germantown Academy creates well-rounded individuals, ones who are passionate about the world and curious about the future. GA encourages us to soak up all the opportunities given to us, and because of this, we're all better off. In High School Musical 3, arguably the best one, please see me after if you would like to debate, Gabriella says, "I want it all to slow down." In the fall, I'm pretty sure all of us felt this way, with all the senior activities flying by us. Last first days, senior breakfasts, last hallway decorating, and finally, senior strut, where I finally got to live out my lifelong dream of running around the entire school but not realizing how out of breath I would be soon. Anyway, Gabriella wanted it all to slow down, just as I did. But I could have never imagined it all stopping one random Friday afternoon. At first I thought, oh fun, a little extended spring break, this is nice. But like most of us, my heart broke when I realized I would never walk the halls again, along with my classmates, ever again. Again, life is nothing like the movies. We faced a pandemic of epic proportions, one that has never been seen before. We looked for guidance only to find our authoritative figures perplex themselves. At first, as if this was not enough, here comes racial tensions causing division and strife throughout the nation. At one point, I wondered if this was High School Musical or if it was the Titanic, because this ship was sinking. Together, we trudged through virtual GA, slowly losing motivation. As our teachers consoled us, we all knew this just wasn't fair. But deep down inside, I know this just was another one of those insidious lessons that life teaches you. With help from God and the glorious Germantown Academy staff, we did get to preserve some of our final moments as seniors and got to carry out May terms, while our teachers encouraged us to get our heads in the game. I'm not going to stand up here and talk about how strong we are for getting through this. We are a class born in the time of 9/11, and we graduated during a national pandemic. We have all heard about how strong we are so much that it may cause us to want to scream. But personally, I just feel it is what it is. We don't know any other way. We are a class that has been through so many trials and tribulations that we are so ready for the world should be scared. I would even bet on it. Our resilience to continue to be true to ourselves during these times has shown not only us, but the world that the class of 2020 is truly unstoppable. But, like the movie, right here, right now, Germantown Academy has given me friends for life, ones whom I will always count on to even help me write a graduation speech, as well as friends who will call me during I can't breathe and ask me, are you okay? By the way, although protests are slowing down, let's do our part to break down the racial, sexual, and economic injustices here in our own community. Here at GA, I have memories that will last forever, and no doubt experienced some of the best moments of my life. Now, I'm still expecting us to sing a song and do some perfectly choreographed dance together, but to me, my high school experience was better than the movie because of the class of 2020 and the teachers that guided our way. So, congratulations, class. I cannot wait to see where we go on the start of something new. Once a patriot, always a patriot. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. Only one house is special enough to have two names. Please rise and prepare to receive your diplomas. Alcott-Day House. Alcott-Day House, Househead Peggy Bradley. Madeline Paige Burns, Prefect. Ryan Joseph Fairley, Prefect. Zachary Michael Anderson. Imagine a faculty emeritus not having just one, but two grandchildren graduating today. Come on up. Walker Phillips Butler, lifer. Lena Cahill, cum laude. Brina Paige Cartagenova. Liliana Nicole Ernst, lifer. Thank you. Ella Jane Henry. Alexandra Madeline Cafferson, Academy Scholar, lifer. Thomas Patrick McDonald III. Catherine McFadden. Harry Paul Mirabile III, lifer. Sabrine Mariam Muhammad, cum laude Academy Scholar. Luke Joseph Monahan. Solon Noritoki O'Malley, Academy Scholar, lifer. Grace Ann Passetti. Luke Xavier Strauss. Maya A. Taylor. Trey Peyton Vance. Olivia Renee Westover in absentia. Please share some love with our graduates from Alcott-Day. Alcott-Day, families and guests, thank you for joining us on the quad, and please return to your viewing location. Alcott-Day graduates, please have a seat. The only reason I agreed to let the incomparably magnificent Margaret Mary McVeigh 1760 retire from GA was because she agreed to serve as today's commencement speaker. In addition to the 7 different titles she has held since arriving at GA 44 years ago, Maggie has, yes, that is definitely worth a round of applause. Maggie has also served as the voice of the faculty, the person who has emceed our back to school and professional day meetings with her unique and trademark blend of wisdom and self-effacing humor. She is a mentor and a friend, a revered, exceptionally talented teacher, a beloved mom and wife, and a plucky, loyal sister, among many other beautiful things. Simply put, Maggie is everyone's go-to person and an extraordinary human being. Everything good at GA has been influenced by Maggie. She is truly one of a kind. Please stand and show her the love she deserves as she comes to the podium one last time.
Got a furry mic up here. It's fun. Those of you who are familiar with rhetorical devices will recognize a master of hyperbole when you hear one. And Mr. Shellhaus is certainly the master of the masters. I appreciate the kind words, but I appreciate even more this opportunity to be with you again. My heart is full to overflowing this morning. So many emotions, but rising to the top is gratitude and wonder. A huge hello to all of you watching from a distance, at home or tucked away in some pocket of the campus. Social distancing so your children can have this moment. Be assured we feel you close in spirit. Special greetings, of course, to those of you sitting right here in the flesh. I love seeing your faces, even if it's only half of your face. I love seeing your faces. I have missed you. It has been far too long. But still, despite how very happy I am to see you, I am moved to ask, why are we here in the middle of July when school officially ended almost a month ago, more than a month ago? We are participating in this creatively cobbled together graduation ritual. But why are we here? Well, first of all, we are here because you are loved by the school, by your families, by your friends. This love will carry you far. It will buoy you up when life gets confusing, challenging, hard. Know it, feel it, act from the center of it. You are loved. So why are we here? Despite wonderful celebrations at the end of the school year, we all know that in truth, the ritual of graduation on campus with your classmates in the quad, dressed so beautifully, embraced by the giant oaks, it feels deeply necessary. And indeed it is. This graduation ritual connects you to all the previous GA students who marched exuberantly through the stately doors of the administration building, sat in these seats, listened to their classmates share celebratory remarks, and managed to be kind to the faculty speaker. These students processed to the stage to shake hands, although with the president of the Board of Trustees, the head of the school, and the head of the upper school, and received their diplomas. And now you are about to participate, and some of you have already participated in this heartbreaking, heart-elating transition. Transition. Mr. Shellhaus spoke about transition earlier today. Here's the truth about why we are here. At the conclusion of today's ceremony, you will no longer be students at GA. You will be proud alums of Germantown Academy. And after 44 years, at the end of this ceremony, I will no longer be a teacher at GA. I will be a former teacher. And I too will need to find new pathways to connect to the school. We need this ritual today to make it clear to ourselves, you and me, that our lives are changing permanently, like it or not. Of course, in the past 3 months, we have become experts in change, honing our skills from a distance, from behind masks, learning how to maintain relationships in the clouds. Still, I would venture to say that this change, this moving forward from GA today, letting go of your adolescence and stepping into a wild world that demands your adult participation is as momentous an occasion as any you will experience in your lifetime. And if this moment does not strike you as eminently consequential as I have just described, let me invite you to reconsider. Human beings are meaning-making creatures. We are hardwired to infuse the events of our life with meaning and purpose. But that is up to each one of us. No one else can do it for you. Your life can be a string of random happenstance, or it can be a glorious story of joyful synchronicity. Your choice. As you make your way from today fundamentally different after this life-changing ritual to find and make meaningful lives, let me offer you this gift. The words on the seal of Hampshire College, my college alma mater, my saving grace, my home at last, discovered only after some very challenging years of searching. Hampshire's motto is simple, powerful, a clarion call, non satis scire. You Latin students will translate with ease. To know is not enough. Knowing is only the beginning of making this world just, compassionate, and genuinely respectful of humankind and the natural world. So, what do you know? That Black lives matter? That is not enough. That we must listen to those whose voices have been silenced? That is not enough. That children are hurt and hungry? Not enough. That beating COVID-19 requires consistent, uncompromisingly uncomfortable commitment and sacrifice? That is not enough either. We must act. In as many different ways as there are people listening to these words right now, we must act. Words are powerful. You know that I believe that. Couple them with deeds, honorable deeds, and you will find that you can live GA's mission for a lifetime. How will you act upon what you know? This is the big question for the class of 2020. In fact, it is the big question for every single one of us. What will we do to address what we know to be true? The answer to that question is what shapes a life. Your answer to that question is what will shape your life. I believe that listening is a good place to start. The simple act of listening will open hearts and minds, others and our own. Did I say simple act? Listening to understand is far from simple. It is hard and requires practice. This is a skill worth developing. Brian Stevenson, founder and executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative, reminds us that change also requires us to be proximate. Stevenson says, if you are willing to get closer to people who are suffering, you will find the power to change the world. So try to get proximate. It is very hard to change things from a distance. Sometimes it's hard to know from a distance that anything needs to be changed at all. Finally, if all this sounds a bit scary, that's because it is. Tacked on the bulletin board above my desk for decades now, I guess right now it's in a little carton on my third floor, but I will have to get it out, are the words of the poet and activist Audre Lorde. She wrote, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." Acting on what you know, acting to make change, acting for a better world is scary. But you are powerful. Sasha, I'm going to say it again. You are so powerful and ready to reach beyond your fear to shape the future. The world is waiting. Your world is waiting with open arms. Go show them what you've got.
It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our Gallowegians. Please rise and prepare to receive your diplomas. Give them a round of applause, please. Galloway House, Househead Reed Skog. Lindsay Elizabeth Putnam, cum laude prefect. Noah Joseph Spratt, prefect. Roderick Roy Azizi, lifer. Nicholas Alexander Beckos. Alexander Caleb Brown, cum laude, lifer. Jay Fassler, cum laude. Josephine Helen Corman, lifer. Dante Nicholas Messina. Molly Catherine Oath. Kelly Jane Raymer. Elizabeth Rose McMichael Riem, cum laude lifer. Katie Sands, cum laude. Vraj Bhavesh Satashia. Carmen Leonard Sinker. L. Elizabeth Stauffer. Alexander Tang. Julian Vongvisai, lifer. Matthew Vutsinos. Jason Wong. Siani Elise Williams, Academy Scholar. A final round of applause, please, for our now graduates from Galloway House. Galloway family guests, we miss you already. Please return to your seating area. And Gallowegians, you've already sat down, you're smart. So here we go. 3 members of the class of 2021, Maeve Diver, Sydney Hill, and Rachel Roth, will now sing for you an old GA favorite, The Irish Blessing. Please welcome them.
May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields, and until we meet again, and until we meet again, may the God that loves us all hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen, amen, amen.
Will the final group of Kershaw students to graduate under the tutelage of founding househead David Martin, 1760, please, well, keep rising and keep walking and move over to receive your diplomas. Kershaw House. Kershaw House, househead David Martin, class of 1760. Sasha Gabrielle Capers, prefect lifer. That's a 10 on the cheering scale, friends. May he be your role model. Matthew Aiden Sandifer, prefect cum laude. Lily Catherine Connor, Academy Scholar. Zachary Alexander Corin. Seamus Martin Dean, lifer. Jonathan Lawrence Feynman, cum laude, Academy Scholar. Daniel Clay Garber. Terrence Z. Huang, Academy Scholar. Grace Eileen Coppus. Madison Rose Kurtz, lifer. Laura Geeko Lennon, lifer. Amanda Lee, cum laude. Kara Rose McAndrew, cum laude, lifer. Gianna Maria Murja. Madeline Oda, in absentia. Dion Wade Savage. Zachary Noah Spain. Iyasu Tadessa. Zachary William Thurlow. Madeline Kate Visa. Tiffany Zong, cum laude. A rousing round of applause for our Kershaw graduates. Kershaw family guests, thank you for joining us. Kershaw graduates, please take your seats. It's now my privilege to introduce Will B. Weinmayer, Jr., class of 2003, and president of the Alumni Society Board, who will now induct new members into the class of 1760, our honorary alumni class. Please welcome Will to the podium.
Thank you, Rich. On behalf of the Alumni Society Board, I want to congratulate the class of 2020 and welcome you into the alumni community. You may feel like you're finishing your GA career today, but I would encourage you to stay connected. Stay connected with your classmates, stay connected with the faculty, and make new friends with fellow alums. Come back to GAPC Day, attend the alumni events, or join one of the many CSO alumni groups around the country. You have so many opportunities to take advantage of as a GA alum, and the school community is here to support you. I'm here today to introduce and welcome 4 new classmates into the honorary alumni class of 1760. The class was created to recognize non-alumni for their outstanding contributions to the Academy. Numerous nominations are received and closely reviewed each year by the Alumni Society Board before deciding on the year's inductees. Given the changes to this year's graduation with limited attendance, a small group of us had the pleasure of surprising each inductee over the last week so they could celebrate with their friends and family in attendance. All of these inductees embody GA's mission statement, but as I read the nominations for this person, I immediately thought about compassionate in spirit and collaborative in action. She might reside in a lower school, but over a 27-year career at GA, she has garnered the support and admiration from faculty, students, and parents of all 3 divisions, and even the Child Care Center. Her love and passion for teaching music has simply impacted and benefited the entire school and beyond. I have 2 little boys, and when I think about having the patience necessary to teach young kids all day in a classroom filled with noisy instruments, that on its own might be deserving of this recognition, but that barely scratches the surface for why she is so deserving and why we're so lucky to have her at GA. On countless occasions, she has worked with her colleagues on new and creative ways to introduce music, instruments, and dance into the curriculum. For example, several years ago, the 3rd grade introduced a new unit on Africa, and she worked with teachers to integrate African music and dance into the curriculum. Soon after, she traveled to Kenya, sharing her musical talents and learning more about the culture and music that would ultimately benefit GA students. Upon her return, she connected 3rd grade students with students from Kenya to help both groups learn more about one another. In addition to her duties as a music department coordinator and leading the lower school choir, you can find her accompanying middle and upper school students on the recital pieces on her own time, or sharing her love for music with the Child Care Center, and more recently, working with endless patience and persistence to help students sync audio and visual files during the past semester. One colleague said she is a kind of person who goes about her teaching with the utmost professionalism and humility. She never hesitates to volunteer or support GA in any way she can. She simply embodies goodness. Please join me in welcoming Jody Board of the class of 1760. Our next inductee started her GA career as a kindergarten teacher 28 years ago. From the very beginning, she had a vision, some would even say a calling, to bring change and opportunity to the lower school. With encouragement from colleagues and a deep love for her native Puerto Rican culture and language, she co-founded the lower school Spanish program 20 years ago. Her vision was more than just teaching kids a different language. It was about helping kids explore and embrace a new culture, and it's been the foundation for GA students to become more culturally diverse, paving the way for them to learn multiple languages and study and live abroad. As one past graduate said, she started nurturing diversity before anyone else really was. In addition to being a kindergarten teacher, Spanish teacher, lower school world language coordinator, she was a lower school diversity representative to the faculty and served on the diversity task force. She also represented the school by serving on the board of the Montgomery County Association of Foreign Language Teachers. It's obvious that she's had a profound impact on the lower school curriculum and the students she's taught. What might not be as obvious for some is how important her friendships have been around the school. The constant theme in her nomination letters was how much she valued and invested in her friendships and vice versa. One nominator commented, most significant in her time at GA is her never-ending connection to students, parents, and faculty. She never loses touch with her many, many friends. I know she is incredibly proud to see all of her past students graduate today. Unfortunately for GA, she is retiring this year, and although she will be missed, we are grateful for everything she's done to transcend the lower school education for the GA community. We know that her friendships will continue and that she won't stray too far from GA. Please join me in welcoming Marissa McCullough into the class of 1760. Unfortunately, Marissa cannot be here today, but a small group of us were able to surprise her last week and celebrate, and we know she's listening to the live broadcast. So congratulations, Marissa, and enjoy retirement. Our next inductee began his GA career in 2004 as a history teacher. With his extraordinary teaching style, intellect, humor, and humility, he quickly garnered the respect and admiration of the entire GA community. Within 5 years, he was asked to serve and still serves as the upper school history department chair. As one colleague said, for Kendall Manor to handpick him to lead the history department and its eclectic band of personalities after just 5 years demonstrates the character and ability he possesses to not only teach, but to mentor, work with, and quietly lead adults as well as children. As if teaching, serving as department head, and coaching middle school baseball wasn't enough, he has worked with focus and determination to help make two additional contributions to the GA community. The first was his work to help establish the China program and build the relationship with her sister school in Beijing. The second has been his commitment to revive and expand the Model UN program into a very successful and popular student experience, with several students traveling to national events and earning recognition for their work. I would be remiss if I did not mention that we are grateful for his ability to organize the perfect assembly or craft the perfect speech, as evidenced by his graduation speech back in 2018. During an alumni event, I had the opportunity to sit in on one of his classes. I had no forewarning that he was this revered teacher as I've described, but sitting there around the Harkness table, it was easy to see how he captured the attention and respect of his students. As an alum, it brought great comfort watching and knowing that he was part of the next generation of teachers that have dedicated themselves to making a difference in the lives of GA students. As one colleague said, he has entered the rarefied air of predecessors such as Rankin, Garvin, Mattern, and McVeigh. All these teachers, but especially Peter, would have been proud and honored to see you earn this recognition today. Please join me in welcoming Robert Moyer into the class of 1760. Our final inductee came to GA in 2009, and ever since he stepped foot on campus, he has been GA's biggest fan. He is all in 24/7. You can find him visiting classes, cheering at sporting events, attending Belfry productions, and traveling abroad with groups of students. But behind the scenes, he has been the driving force to move the school forward. As one parent said, he is an inspiring leader who has moved GA into the 21st century while honoring GA's history and traditions. As he began his GA career, he found himself orchestrating and leading both the move of the middle and upper school to Patriot Village, followed in short order with relocating everyone back into new buildings and making it their new home. He embodied the positivity the community needed to get through and make the most of that transition, and he worked hard to make sure those seniors had a special year. It is an understatement to say that he has possessed those same attributes this past year. After the move, one of his earliest endeavors was a partnership with Stanford and the Challenge Success Program, which evolved into the Challenge GA program. This brought about the creation of several programs and initiatives, including a focus to study and understand the programming needed to meet the academic, social, and emotional needs of GA students and families, the creation of the One School team to better connect all three divisions, and implementing design thinking into all three division curricula. From there, it was a focus to build on the curriculum by delivering the best experiences and opportunities for learning. His passion and vision have helped develop programming and facilities for several inspiring areas around campus, including the Beard Center for Innovation, the lower school library, and the lower school Tinker Lab. He has created several opportunities for students to travel and have experiences outside of the classroom as well, including the recently created GAXP program and the exchange programs of schools in China, London, Poland, and France. His mission has always been clear and simple. It is to continually move the school forward with the respect and inclusivity of the entire community. He was a driving force behind the updated mission statement and the creation of the Civility Pledge. He leads by example by living these values every day. He is a source of GA's energy, and he empowers students and faculty to continually achieve and be their best. Finally, these words would not be complete if I didn't thank him for sharing his passion for his German heritage, creating new traditions, and putting the German back into Germantown Academy. I feel rude standing behind you like this, but finally, these words would not be complete if I did not thank him for, on behalf of the Alumni Society Board and the entire alumni community, we want you to know how grateful we are for your leadership, especially over this past semester. Please join me in welcoming Truesdell House into the class of 1760.
Last but not least, it is time to honor the distinguished students of Osborne House. Please join me in welcoming them. Osborne House, Househead Susan Merrill. Sarah Morgan DeLello, Prefect. Shane Francis Harkins, Prefect. As she makes the way to the podium, please join me in thanking Lori Andrus and all of our nurses for taking care of us today and always. Alana Grace Andrus. Liliana Cohen. Matthew Raymond Creighton. Mark Jacob Dobson. Davis Alexander Harabin Lifer. John Edward Carr, cum laude. William Hart Corman, Lifer. Pacey Aaron Liss. Gavin Edward Laughlin. Grace Frances McGettigan. Caroline W. Pake, cum laude lifer. Mackenzie Morgan Pasquarella, lifer. Lauren Michelle Paynton, cum laude. Matthew Daniel Sender, cum laude lifer. Jacob Nathaniel Kelly Friedman Slifker, cum laude Academy Scholar. Isabella Venziali. Owen Gregor Wetzel, lifer. And last but not least, Alex Yan, cum laude. Friends, please join me in giving a rousing round of applause to our now graduates from Osborne House. Osborne family guests, we ask you to return to your seating area for the final part of our program. My friends and families, it is truly my pleasure to finally, just a month late, present to you our newest alumni, the Germantown Academy class of 2020. Get on your feet and give them a round of applause. Students, if you could also rise, we will now listen to Maeve, Rachel, and Sydney belt the heck out of the Germantown Academy alma mater.
Hail our alma mater, to Germantown we sing. Cherished are the memories which round thy old walls cling. May thy glorious spirit ever stay thy loyal ones, and lead us on to victory, the foes outnumbered come. Then whate'er betide us, we will together stand. By one bond united, one common impulse grand. Call us then together while we raise our voices high, and fling defiance to our foes. Thy spirit cannot die.
Please be seated. Before we conclude, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our performers and to Mr. Masters for arranging all of today's music. Yeah. I am so grateful to Beth Taylor, Deb Kennedy, Heather Durkin, and Carla Ziegelboim for working around the clock to make this graduation possible. Please join me in thanking them. Charlie Langrieb, John Pax, Dan Houston, Steve Dolan, Lori Andrus, and our entire facilities, maintenance, security, and nursing teams spent dozens of hours to make this ceremony possible. Please thank them for their outstanding work. It is imperative that we end today's special celebration on a happy, healthy note. First, I ask that everyone keep their masks on until you leave campus. Second, please know that, as previously announced, the quad will be closed immediately at the end of the ceremony in order to prevent any temptation to violate the guidelines that enabled us to come together today. Once the belfry bell tolls, house heads will lead each house individually in a recession towards the area. It's actually a recessional, not a recession. Sorry about the economy. In a recessional toward the area where your guests are seated. I ask families to please promptly return to your vehicles at that point to exit campus. Please feel free to continue your family celebrations off campus. And please remember to be safe and protect the most vulnerable among us during this pandemic. Parents and guests, I ask that you hold your places until the class of 2020 has departed and the graduates have made their way to your spaces where you can meet them outside. So graduates, we will recess by individual house. Please stay seated until your house is called. My friends, thank you so much for being at GA today. Thank the non-sectarian gods for holding off on the rain. Please keep in your hearts all of the essential workers who are fighting this pandemic at this time, as well as the families who have lost people. I need you, 2020, to go forth and make this world a better place. One more rousing round of applause for the class of 2020. Osborne House and Osborne House only, please rise and depart. Cue the belfry bell. Galloway House, please rise and depart. Robert's House, please go forth and conquer. Alcott-Day House, please go make the world a better place. Washington House, please continue to inspire. Kershaw House, please give it up for your departing house at Mr. Martin. Go forth and be courageous and brave, Timberwolves. Truesdell House, you are dismissed. My friends, it feels a little bit different, but in your hearts, I hope it feels the same. Thank you for being at GA today. You have made all of the difference. Have a wonderful day. Please stay safe.